Hey YouTube, this is Tyconners here again doing another action figure review. Now this is for something I picked up recently. My local toy store decided for some reason they were getting in old Rogue One figures from the Black series and re-popping them out. So this is a wave I never initially saw over here, so this is kind of like the first time they've been released here, even though the film is over a year old. It was released January 2017, or sorry, the figures were released around January 2017, so they are quite a long time ago. Well, they're quite old at this rate, but as I said, they've just been released here. So for the figures I'm reviewing today is Baze, Malbus, and Chirrut imwe, as I hope I pronounced that right, which is the Donnie and is it J Wine characters. So again, I hope I didn't butcher that name. But for the boxes, they are respectively 36 and 37 in the Black series. Let me just bring that up a touch so you can see it. So they're number 36 for Chirrut and 37 for Baze. I'm not sure who else was in this wave, because I think there was a few reissues. Like I think the Death Trooper was reissued as part of this wave, and possibly one of the Jinerzos was reissued again for this wave. But these are the two figures I picked up. What's interesting is the figures arrived in my local toy store, but they arrived straight into clearance prices. They were pretty much a fraction of the price. Yeah, they were half the price they normally are, because over here in Ireland they're usually about 30 euros a pop, and these figures were dropped to 15 the minute they hit shelves, so they're on a bit of a sale at the moment. So moving around to the back of the boxes, just for a brief bio. So for Baze, it says, Baze Malbus, the harsh reality of his imperial occupied homeworld has hardened Baze Malbus into a pragmatic soldier and a crack shot with his heavy repeater cannon. His bravado provides contrast to the spiritual centeredness of his friend Chirrut imwe. And then for Chirrut's bio, it says, deeply spiritual, Chirrut imwe believes all living things are connected through the Force. Though he lacks Force abilities, his sightless eyes do not prevent him from being a highly skilled warrior monk. And then just for the rest of the boxes, there's the standard kind of Black series, black and red boxes. So you have the character images down on the right hand corner, then the name on the left hand corner, and then the logo, the Star Wars logo, up on the very top of the boxes. And that logo is then continued around the sides and on the top. So, oh sorry, the character name is on the sides and the logo is on the top. So that's the boxes out of the way. So on to Chirrut first. He comes with two accessories. So the only accessories he comes with is this stick and this kind of almost like a Wookiee bowcaster type thing, which he uses in the movie. Now what's interesting is it can be turned. You can actually pull it apart, but it doesn't store on the character. In the movie, he had it kind of on his back. There was a place for him to put it on his back, but the figure doesn't have a place for it. But he comes with this kind of blaster that, as I said, can rotate, and the kind of bow part actually extends out as well and can be collapsed. And then he also comes with his walking stick or staff, which is also a two-piece thing that kind of pops apart. I think it just pops apart just for ease. It's not intended to really do it, but it can go into either of his hands, so you can get it into his left and right hand. His right hand is sculpted with a trigger finger for the actual blaster. So you can get it into his hand. What's interesting is his right hand actually has up and down hinge, where his left hand has the in and out. Now it doesn't go out too much because it's hindered by this armor piece, but it does go in a bit. But you can sort of get him into a couple of, if I just twist the thing, you can get him to slightly hold the weapon in both hands, as he did in the movie. He actually held it two-handed, and you can actually get him to do that. It's a bit of a tight fit, but he can actually do it. So, I just remove his weaponry out of the way at the moment. the likeness is actually very well done, and I like the fact that they actually grayed out his eyes a bit, so it gives the kind of the blind appearance. His head is on a ball joint and can go left to right and has a hinge. You don't have any tilt really on it, but his arms are on a ball joint as well to go out to the side that much, or go up that much. Can rotate all the way around. He has single jointed elbows, as I said. He has the hinge and swivel on the wrist, and as I said, his left goes in and out where his right actually goes up and down. And then he has a ball jointed waist. He does have this kind of web gear stuff over him, which has a sculpted actual rubber cloak, but then the rest of his cloak below is actually 2 pieces. So he has the red kind of piece, and then he has this black with the red stripe on it. His legs can go out that much, can go forward. It's not too hindered, except for going back a bit, but I think that's the sculpt of the body itself. He does have the standard upper thigh swivel, dual jointed dual jointed knees, and the rocker ankle joints. So he pretty much has the same standard articulation as the regular Black Series, and he does have that soft goods cloak. Now, just for a quick comparison, and just bring them in. This is the hopefully, if I'm as I'm putting these up, I'm probably going to put these up back to back, so you'll probably see the review for this first. But this is the Last Jedi Luke. I kind of wish they did Luke's lower robes similar to how they did Chirrut's, just as a minor nitpick, because it does kind of hinder it doesn't really hinder the posability, but it does look awkward when you're trying to pose him. But that's just a minor nitpick on my side. And then on to Chirrut's best friend, which is Baze. Baze, I actually really liked the design for Baze in Rogue One. He kind of has this really weird, kind of reminds me a bit of Dengar, the bounty hunter, the way the body armor on him looks, but it has a really cool look to it. So Baze comes with, I'll just take off his accessories. So out of the box, Baze comes like this. For articulation, he has the waist swivel. He doesn't have really up and down. His neck is kind of hindered. He can look down. He kind of looks side to side a bit. You can rotate his head, but his hair blocks most of his back articulation on his head. His arms can go out that much. You can get his arms all the way around without when his stuff isn't on him. He has single jointed elbows. He has in and out and swivel on the wrist and swivel on the elbow. His, again, just like Chirrut, or Chirrut, I hope I pronounced that right. His right hand is up and down as opposed to in and out. He does have the standard ball jointed hips, but they are very hindered. In fact, the one on mine doesn't go out that much at all. It's very hindered. And then you go forward, back, upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and then the same kind of ball rocker ankle joint with forward and back on the ankle. So all in all, he's quite posable. It does kind of get a little hindered when you get all these gear on him. So on his back he has this big plug, and he also has this plug that plugs in here. So this plugs into the back. Once that's in, it kind of gets in the way a bit of his articulation, and then his gun is sculpted to, or his right hand is sculpted to hold the gun on the trigger finger, and then the magazine kind of clicks into it. So it looks really, really cool. Just bring his gun around. You can get him with you can get a two-handed pose. It's a little bit difficult, but you can get him to do a two-handed pose with his gun, like he does in the movie. But it's really, really, it can be really difficult to get him to hold the barrel of the gun with his left hand and get have the trigger finger lined up properly, but it does look really cool. One thing that I found interesting, and I'm not sure if anyone else has mentioned this, and it's only because I picked up the figure recently, is he comes with this little piece, and to me it's a very similar looking, it's like an electroshock, it's like a Star Wars equivalent of a taser. It's very similar in design and look to the one that came with Rose Tico. Now I don't have the Rose Tico figure, but it looks almost identical to the one that she was using, so I'm just wondering if Baze has some sort of connection to Rose, since they have similar. It could be just coincidence that they have the similar looking thing, but even Rose's uniform is the kind of overalls, which is kind of similar to Baze as well, so there could be some sort of lineage there, even though they're a good chunk of time in the difference between their characters. So like you have Rogue One, which is set before A New Hope, and then you have The Last Jedi, which is what I think is like 30 odd, if not more, 40 odd years later. So it could be just me grasping at straws, but it's very interesting that she has a very similar weapon to Baze. It could be nothing, but it could be something that no one's kind of thought about. But there you go. But all in all, I really like the figures. I'm not sure how widely available these two were, because I know some people had a lot of problems trying to pick them up initially. They were like kind of the last wave of Rogue One figures, so they were hard to find. But they are popping up in stores over here in Ireland. Could be popping up again in stores in the States. But if you want to get them, I do recommend picking them up. Hopefully you don't have to pay through the nose for them. I do know some figures tend to go for stupid, ludicrous prices on the aftermarket, and hopefully these two aren't. But overall, they are pretty good figures, so do recommend getting them. And if you want to have a kind of cool looking Donnie Yen figure next to your Luke Skywalker kind of figure, it has like a kind of Jedi-ish order type thing. He would fit in quite well. So all in all, really good figure, and do recommend picking them up. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed my review, and I hope you, as the same my reviews, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.